Water is life, yet billions of people around the world still have issues finding clean and safe drinking water. Without proper sanitations, communities face severe health risks, including deadly diseases caused by contaminated water sources. The availability of clean water is not just a health issue, it's a socio-economic challenge that affects education, economic growth, and many other factors.
When water sources are polluted, entire ecosystems suffer, leading to the devastating consequences for both humans and wildlife. Today, we will discuss the importance of sustainable water management, the diseases caused by unsafe water, and the socio-economic impact of this crisis. We will also explore necessary policy changes and their role in ensuring clean water for all. Because access to clean water isn't a privilege. It's a basic human right we must protect for the future generations.
Hi everyone, this is the last episode of our podcast. Today's topic is how to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Maybe let's introduce ourselves, so we have two new speakers today.
Hello, my name is Max Novak.
Hello, my name is Ian Czubala.
Why should we introduce? Yeah, and the three speakers from previous episodes are here as well. So Mania, Martyna, and Olga. Okay, so well, let's maybe start with discussing what sustainable management of water and what the actual issue of the lack of water is for each of us. So, does anybody what do you associate with lack of water? Yeah. What do you think that? So, who wants to say something?
I can say something.
Sure.
Okay. When I think of lack of water, I straight away think of Africa and African countries. I actually went on a very nice trip to Zanzibar 2 years ago with my mom, and I walked around the village and I saw children begging for water because they didn't have the basic need of water, of safe drinking water. Yes, I think Jan would like to add something to this.
Yeah, I mean, just when I'm listening to Max, I think that his story is very touching, and I think that is a very crucial mile of today's time, that some people do not have access to such basic things as water. So,
I have a question for Max. How this experience affected you?
Well, it affected me very greatly when I came back to Poland, which is the country I live in. I had a burden in my mind. I felt really sad that I couldn't help out and combat the problems of African children having safe drinking water. Yeah, so I felt really bad with this.
Thank you.
Well, I also think that without water, basically nothing is kind of available and possible. Even if you have food, you won't have it for long if you don't have water. Because, let's say for growing crops, and also just drinking water is especially important if many people, especially in third world countries or low-income countries, most of them they have physical labor as their main day job, so they need to hydrate a lot and they don't have really access to it, and that can be really difficult, especially in warmer countries.
Yeah, and that also connects to our previous episodes. So if you haven't checked it, go and check it out. Olga, do you want to add something more?
No, Martyna, thanks.
Okay.
I think it would be important now to touch on some statistics that come with this problem. Approximately 2.2 billion people worldwide lack access to safely managed drinking water services. This means their drinking water is not available when needed, free from contamination, and accessible at home. Within that figure, 703 million people lack even basic drinking water services, which in my opinion is very crazy. Moving on to sanitation, some statistics about sanitation now. Around 3.5 billion people, now if we take this into account, that is almost half of the world's population, lack access to safely managed sanitation services. Wow, they cannot take showers. This includes those who lack access to basic sanitation facilities and those that partake in open defecation. Jan, how do you feel with the statistics presented?
I mean, obviously the numbers you just said just put the thing into perspective. So, I mean, in the first place, I was already shocked with the facts, but now that I hear that almost half of the world has issues with hygiene and access to like different sanitary means, it just makes me want to cry, you know. And it's not an easy situation as I'm here with surrounded by other people. So it's a very hard thing to open up right now.
Thanks, Jan, for this highly emotional response. This is really Mania.
That's crazy. I will now move on to some statistics about hygiene. 2 billion people lack basic hand washing facilities with soap and water at home, which is, well, to put things into perspective, it's really disgusting. Imagine going to urinate or to excrete in a toilet and not washing your hands after and then eating something with your hands. Think about all the bacteria that your body is intaking after this. Jan, how do you feel?
Well, now that I wanted to cry prior to that, now I want to vomit, but it's also a very sad information since, like, you know, it's not only a thing to laugh about, but it's like real issue people face around the world. So yeah, like it's nothing to laugh about. We have to take action right now. Yeah, that's what I think.
That was an amazing point. I think it really gathered all of us together, and it covered this great problem of hygiene. But hygiene is not the only statistic that is so shocking coming to this topic. There is also statistics about healthcare facilities and schools, where a significant percentage of healthcare facilities and schools lack basic water and sanitation services, compromising health and education outcomes. I mean, how can you think correctly if you can't even go to the toilet?
Unbelievable.
That's very unbelievable. And me personally, I just like, it brings me to emotions, to be honest. It's something gravely dangerous.
Exactly.
In day-to-day life. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it poses a serious issue as when you personally do not wash your hands, it's not only about yourself, it's about the whole society. I mean, we get those countries with incredibly imbalanced cities.
What countries?
For example, Brazil,
Okay.
Or South Africa. And in those countries, like, you know, you get extremely rich and extremely poor people in the same place. So even if one of those less
Developed.
financially well-off people does not have access to proper hygiene, it can spread out through the whole society. So it's like a danger for all of them.
Gravely said. We are now moving on to Olga.
I actually wanted to add something because I'm talking about the diseases that are caused by lack of, water. And like Max said, the bacteria that get spread when you don't have access to warm water and running water. I think we talked about it in our first episode, where it's very so many diseases with pregnant women can be prevented if they just had proper hygiene available. And so yeah, this connects with it again. So great point, Max. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
What about my point?
Your point was great too.
Thank you.
But mine better. Okay, so.
Okay, thanks guys.
You're welcome.
So now from contaminated water and poor sanitation. So this doesn't only mean not available water, but the water that is available is just it's usually in open containers that lets all the things just live in there, and that can lead to transmission of so many diseases, such as cholera, however you want to pronounce it.
Cholera.
Thanks. Diarrhea, hepatitis A, typhoid, and polio. And 1 million people a year die from various forms of diarrhea transmitted.
Unbelievable.
Wow, that's crazy.
Transmitted. But another aspect, except bacteria and diseases, is parasites, such as schistosomiasis. I think.
Good pronunciation. No?
Thanks, Max, once again. Okay, and this
Got me impressed.
Go on.
You can go on now.
Thanks, guys. Okay.
You're doing amazing.
This presents with a high fever, a very painful rash, cough, muscle joint and tummy pain, and this is really difficult to function with on the daily. Function with on the daily, and they don't even have healthy water to take medications with, if they even have available medications, which is also long shot.
No.
But also so many insects live in uncovered water containers and freshwater containers that can transmit, for example, dengue fever, which is you might have heard about it. It has similar symptoms to malaria, and it's a very difficult disease to get rid of. So these are kind of things that maybe put this into perspective, how lack of water is actually so impactful on so many different things in our health. Anyone want something to add?
Me.
I thought so.
I will answer.
That wasn't supposed to be so negative, sorry. Jan,
Okay.
Max, go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, the sicknesses are the whole situation is overall not good. Like, it's very sad, and it's not me laughing. I'm just battling my tears over here. Max, on the other hand, he's doing quite
breaking down.
What would you want to say, Max?
What would I want to say? When I think about common diseases such as diarrhea, and how people in countries and continents such as Africa die because of this simple thing to medicate, to be healthy from. It just, it messes up with my
Perception.
perspective of like reality and my perception of the world. And I would also like to add that I've spent countless nights
Reminiscing about Africa.
reminiscing about these poor children in Africa. Yes, that is that of my vypowiedź. It is actually not the end of my vypowiedź. I have, Jan actually is an expert in socio-economic impacts.
I have a degree.
He has a degree in this matter, and he would like to inform the world on some important impacts.
Yes, I mean, so those impacts that Max talked about include, for example, health and productivity, since lack of clean water and sanitation could lead to diseases, as we mentioned that, and that may affect many areas of our lives, so that's a very significant area. And then there's also education, since especially for the girls, the burden of water collection can prevent school attendance, and improve sanitation in schools also creates a more conductive learning environment to help to like improve the learning conditions.
I would like to add something. May I?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. Going back to health and productivity, we also have to take into consideration that there are increasing healthcare costs due to this problem. And, well, who wants to pay more money for healthcare, right?
Right, Max.
Yes, guys, are you with me?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I'm giving back the microphone to Jan.
Thank you.
Yeah, so as Max talked about money stuff, there is also the topic of economic growth as investments in water and sanitation infrastructure stimulate the economic activity, and they actually provide jobs for the society. And then there is also the improvement of water resources, which supports agriculture and other industries, which overall contributes to economic development. And obviously with helping to mitigate the issue of water access, there is also poverty reduction, as the issue affects impoverished communities much more than those which are more well off. So the lack of access perpetuates cycles of poverty. And then also ensuring access to clean water and sanitation is crucial for poverty alleviation.
So I want to say a bit about animals and the declining species. So over 18% of species dependent on inland wetlands have declined since 70s. And the freshwater species suffers by far the worst losses. The freshwater species are species that live in seas, oceans, river.
In fresh waters, yes.
Yeah, basically, yes. So I think it's not any new information that increasing destruction of nature is having catastrophic impact on wildlife and generally our planet.
Terrible.
Yeah. That is in fact terrible. And our planet is basically now a flashing red warning sign of system failure. So we can look around and realize that we fail when it comes to the ecosystem.
It's
And
frightening. I'd say it's so scary. Like every time we go to bed, like my hands start shaking when I think about the changes which we are witnessing in the current times.
It is terrifying. That's true. Thank you. Something more?
No.
I want to. Apart from the destruction in ecosystem, there are the causes of species decline, such as, for example, habitat losses and loss, and it's basically the destruction of the environment that the species lived in, and degradation and overharvesting. Overharvesting is like also basically distracting the environment, like fishing, fishes.
Fish.
That's really broad.
Yeah, like general destruction of the animals' environment, and this contribute to their decline. Martyna?
Yes.
Yes, it breaks my heart.
Thank you, Mania, for this speech.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Now the question is, what can we actually do to help this issue and prevent?
The causes.
Just pray for the harm, pray for the affected.
No, we can do actually more.
Oh,
So except
yes.
rising awareness, your favorite word of
Our
this
favorite.
podcast. Yeah, we can also invest in infrastructure. So yeah, basically invest in infrastructure. Also, government should develop and enforce robust regulations governing water quality, sanitation standards, and wastewater management to ensure public health and environmental protection. There is also decentralized water management. and many other factors. I mean, some governments have already introduced some policies, like for example, many countries have adopted integrated water resources management as a framework for managing water resources, and this promotes the coordinated development and management of water, land, and related resources.
Also, water pricing policies to encourage people to not to buy water in plastic.
Paper on top.
Yeah, we should
Yes.
actually buy it in paper bottles
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
and use paper straws as well.
Yeah,
Or no.
push that.
Yeah, just not use straws
Okay.
at all.
Continuing. Yeah, that's basically it, I think, for this podcast.
Let's say about
Go on with the
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We really appreciate the views that we have amounted over the past couple of.
yeah. Thank you for the 500,000 views on the last podcast.
Thank you for the love and positivity. If you want more from us, just make sure to comment yes in the comment section.
Feel free to ask any questions.
Subscribe to the channel right now. I know you're looking at the button. Press it.
It's free.
It's free.
Yeah.
You don't need to pay for it. And yeah, we have been. We are the Elevator Podcast. We love you. Bye bye.
Peace out, homies.
Gang gang.
Thank you for listening to the free episode that we that we made. And okay, should I say that? We hope. I wanted to say that. I wanted to say that we hope that we spread some awareness. I wasn't sure if I should say the word, but yeah.
I think we did. I think overall we did. We did help the world with the podcast.
I hope so.
And don't forget to support the charities or organizations we link.
And don't forget to support us as well. If you want to donate any money for our initiative, I can give my bank number. Like, just let me know.
That wasn't necessary.
We need better equipment for the podcast. If you want more episodes,
My
comment.
headphones are.
If you want more episodes, comment yes and the amount of money you would like to donate to our podcast.
Every pound equals 1 minute of the podcast.
And that's pounds with a P because we need money. Thank you.
And thanks,
the better
thanks
headphones.
our new speakers today. They
For the
really
lovely conversation.
made our podcast better, and we love you guys.
Entertaining.
Thank you.
As the elevators, we elevated the podcast.
That was so funny. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Okay, so bye everyone.
Bye bye.
Again. Bye.